fellow ASLers, and welcome to just a small intro, a sort of transition of new material that I'm creating for you guys. What I've done is, with the help, of course, your patrons down below, they are the driving force behind this. I've always wanted to kind of do something a little different, as always, instead of just the same old stuff. What I've considered doing and what I've started doing, and you've seen one of them already, and the purpose of them is to give you a little bit more insight into the game. I'm running through my starter kit scenarios. I usually don't play starter kit, as I said in my first video. And so what I'll do is I'll most likely, because most of them are small, smaller engagements, one board, half board, maybe two boards. Maybe I'll avoid those scenarios. But what I'll try to do is have the smaller engagements and show you, play it solo, and then show you both sides and show you from a player's perspective on what I'm thinking about, what shots I'm taking, why I'm taking them, why I'm not taking them, why I'm moving here while I'm not moving there, rallying units, throwing units out in the front to take shots, and maneuvering and trying to cutting off units, etc., etc. Essentially, the whole gamut of ASL play, mainly starting with the starter kit stuff. I'll try to throw some ASL material in there as well. Again, smaller scenarios. Most likely the ASL scenarios have a tendency to run a little longer. I'll try to pick some shorter scenarios for that, but it'll be a lot different in those instances. So right now I'm focusing on SK4. I've done scenario S55. I'm coming out with S66, which is Bailey's Bridge. To be honest with you, both scenarios, I thought they'd be boring as hell to play solo. Now I have a better respect for those players that play solo. I understand the engagement. I think you can play according to your level, based upon essentially both players are equally skilled. And as long as you don't have a bias towards one side or the other, I think the game can come out pretty well. And there's a lot of things that can come out and surprise you and grab you and make you crazy at the same time. But anyway, the concept behind it is to give you and spend a lot of time explaining what the hell I'm doing. Writing on the map. I'm using Tabletop Simulator, which allows you to change perspective as you move around the map instead of just Vassal where you just zoom in and out. I think Tabletop Simulator is a better representation of how you can explain something. It's like counter form, so it's actually like picking up and playing with counters. A lot of guys love the face-to-face feel. This kind of reflects that as well, and it also reflects the change of the type of video that I'm making. And so what we have is we have a new interface of Tabletop Simulator. Usually, again, the maps are smaller, so you can get most of the action on the interface. I could zoom in really close and explain numbers and things like that. And the whole concept is giving you detailed rules knowledge and detailed tactical advice on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And so the why, in my opinion, in my philosophy, is the most important part. You got to know what the hell you're doing when you're doing it. Otherwise, you're just throwing pieces around the map and rolling dice, to be honest with you. So maximize your moves, because you are limited in every single game. You're limited in what you can do and how many times you can do it. So try to maximize those. I don't do it all the time. That's just part of playing. So maximize your movements to make you more efficient and be able to foresee circumstances and to better adapt and react to those circumstances, whether they're good or bad. So therefore, you won't be caught naked on your own. What I describe a lot is order of movement, order of fire. Should I fire this unit first? Should I wait to fire that unit first? Is it important to fire these units over these units, and why you need to do so? So these videos, depending on the length of the game, obviously, can run a little longer, but that's because I'm probably taking about an hour and a half to explain specific details in the game, slowing the game down, breaking it down, instead of just jumping into close combat, saying some modifier out of left field, rolling the dice, and getting it over with in 30 seconds. There are AAR reports that have actual replays like that. You're welcome to watch those, but pretty much these strategy sessions are going to be normal with like the little sleuth down. That's going to be the typical, here's my strategy for this game, typically for both sides. If I'm playing solo, if I'm playing one side, like in the OA24 buying time, I was only playing one side, obviously. I can give you an example of what the Americans might look forward to. But when I'm playing solo, I can give you both sides of examples, why I'm setting up defensively like this in this particular game. Doesn't have to be the best defense. Your defense could be completely different. That's fine. But I'm just giving you explanations of why I'm doing what I'm doing. You might be able to take those and incorporate them in your better defense. And the same thing with an attack. My attack's not going to be the best every single time. A lot of times I'll choose plans that are screwy. And you'll see that in the second scenario. Screwy, completely screwy defense. You'll never see it. I don't think you'll see this from anybody else. It's just a screwed up defense. But you'll see, I wanted to try it to see how it would work. You know, because when you're play testing, not that I'm play testing, when you're play testing, you got to throw that shit out there. Because this seems kind of really wonky off the wall. Let's see what happens, baby. Let's go with it. But that's the idea behind that. So the scenario replays of these will be listed as War Room, the War Room, and those be my solo replays. And it's just a different feature. My ugly face doesn't need to be on the videos, things like that. It'll just show you, unless you want it on there, doesn't really matter to me. But it'll just show you to focus on the game, what it has. I'm sorry if the map swivels around too much. I'm playing with that. I can't have it stagnant. I want to show you perspective of both sides, because when you're sitting on the defender side and you're looking at what the defender sees, you see something different than as if you were looking at the attacker. You know, you're going to be sitting on the wrong side of the table when you're looking at those things. So I can give you that perspective with Tabletop Simulator that I can't in Vassal. Again, a great interface, but that's the plan. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Detailed, step by step, turn by turn, maybe even action by action, with diagrams and writing on the screen for you guys to explain what I'm doing. If you like that sort of stuff, stay tuned for the War Room. That shit will be up there, and you'll be able to enjoy that sort of content. If you don't like the content, go, there's plenty of other content out there. But for the War Room, that's kind of what it's going to be. I advise you, the last one's going to be maybe like 3 hours. Probably put like time and a half, time and a quarter. I speak kind of fast when I'm going in the game, so double speed, you might miss something. But again, whatever speed you want to run on whatever you enjoy. If you don't really care about that, you just want to watch the game as a replay, definitely double speed and just see how the game progresses. And that's another reason why I'm doing SK4 instead of the other SKs. I will break out the expansion packs, probably with the Japanese, simply because I don't see a lot of Japanese play. A lot of players haven't purchased the SK4. I haven't gotten any promotional material, nothing. I've got nothing free from MMP. I'm not getting anything free from these guys. I'm just doing it because for those players that play SK and they don't look forward to going on to ASL, this allows them to experience some SK play, or maybe they have SK3 and they want to check out SK4, but they don't know what Pacific's all about. So I'm going to run through the 8 or 9 scenarios, whatever it may be, play them through, try to experience them, try to play them appropriately. It's difficult with the Japanese when you have hip units, so you have to take certain things with a kind of, not necessarily a grain of salt, but understand that it's not exactly what you're going to see face to face, but what you could perhaps predict. And that's the important thing. Predict what you might see in a face-to-face game based on your opponent and what his perhaps tactics might be, or what the situation calls for. Simple as that. So kind of long-winded. Hopefully that didn't get too crazy. I want to thank all the patrons down below. I know I haven't ever like probably verbally done it, maybe like in the holiday season. It's approaching the holiday season again, coincidentally, kind of weird. But anyway, I want to thank all the guys down below. They've supported me, some of them very recently, some of them from day one. And it's been a couple years going now. These guys are a bunch of ass kickers and a bunch of great group of guys to be able to support their favorite. No, I'm not sure if they're among their favorite, but one of their content creators. A lot of these guys support other guys as well. I hope you guys do the same. Find someone that's creating material, whoever it may be. Drop them a thanks, donation, whatever. Those guys do a lot of work, and they do it for the love of the game and just for the enjoyment of bringing some material for some guys. You know, that's what kind of what it's all about, to be honest with you, is new exciting material, especially for a lot of guys that can't get out there and get stuff done or have a lot of opponents and things like that. So go out, and everyone has different levels. You know, Illuminating Rounds has got different levels. They offer a different type of program. You've got ASL Real Time or ASL Academy with Neil over there, and Neil and Scott doing their thing, creating a lot of great tutorial information. Illuminating Rounds is more of like a community sort of thing where they interview people, bring a lot of different personalities onto the shows. Great shows, stuff like that. And there's a lot of other content creators out there. Just go out there and say, hey, thanks for what you're doing. And they'll appreciate it. And it'll give them a little bit more fire going on. But again, thanks guys down below. You guys drive the material. And it also helps, you know, provide, you know, funding for mics and lights and crap like that. New material. I personally ran the World's SK 2022 online Discord tournament. We had initially 8 guys, 4 guys had a drop, so we ended up with 4 guys. We did a round robin, 3 rounds, and gave away $100 in cash, essentially cash and prizes. So that helps fuel that sort of thing. I intend to run 3 of those probably a year. The other one might be coming like in March or April, probably around some sort of holiday weekend. I want to do it over a weekend and not 1 game per week. But anyway, we'll get into that later. So anyway, that's because of these guys down below. That's what fuels all those thoughts, all those interesting things that you guys can hopefully be involved in, if not participate by watching some of the videos. Thank you so much, and now you can go play some ASL and go kick some ass. Thanks a lot, guys.